viewers, we're going to switch our attention to a monumental development that will take place on Sunday. What is it that we're talking about? Well, viewers, the nation will get a brand new cradle of democracy, in a manner of speaking, a brand new parliament dedicated to the Republic of Bharat, an ode to our democratic spirit and our Bharat's Indic heritage. Why am I saying this? Well, because you only have to view the symbolism accompanying the inauguration. One of those symbols is closely linked with our history, the Chola period to be exact. The Union Home Minister Amit Shah let it be known today that the Sengol, or a sceptre, will be placed in the new house. In the new house, close to the speaker's podium, so that it is constantly in view and a constant reminder to all Indians of India's civilizational legacy. The Sengol, viewers, has become a powerful representation of India's freedom. After Mountbatten asked Nehru how he would like to mark the transfer of power. But more on that in just a few moments. First, listen in to Amit Shah, the Union Home Minister, who talks about the placement of the Sengol in the House of Parliament. Listen to this.
इसको तमिल में सेंगोल कहा जाता है और इस शब्द का अर्थ संपदा से संपन्न और ऐतिहासिक है। उसने हमारे इतिहास में एक अहम भूमिका निभाई है और ये सेंगोल अंग्रेजों से भारतीयों के साथ सत्ता के हस्तांतरण का एक प्रतीक बना था। इस घटना के ऐतिहासिक महत्व को जानने के बाद आप सभी को आश्चर्य होगा कि इतने सालों तक ये हमारे सामने क्यों नहीं आई। जब इसकी जानकारी प्रधानमंत्री जी को मिली, इस पर गहराई से विचार करने के बाद प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इसकी गहन जांच के आदेश दिए और फिर निर्णय लिया कि गौरवमयी प्रसंग को ध्रुव तारे के समान, परंपराओं के ध्रुव तारे के समान देश के सामने रखना चाहिए।
Well, the Union Home Minister Amit Shah talking about the symbolic importance, the symbolic significance of the Sengol. Let me elaborate on that, viewers. The Sengol became a powerful representation or metaphor of India's freedom after the last British Viceroy, Lord Mountbatten, asked Nehru how he would like to mark the transfer of power. Now, Jawaharlal Nehru, viewers, turned to Rajaji, who went on to later become the Union Home Minister, as also the first Governor General of independent India. Rajaji advised Nehru that he should choose the Sengol to mark the handover of power, which immortalizes the Tamil tradition of the high priest handing over a sceptre to a new king when he comes to power, right after he is coronated. Rajaji then arranged the sceptre to be made by the seers of one of India's oldest mutts for the historic moment. This star for Sengol was presented to Nehru by a senior priest just less than an hour before the clock struck midnight in 1947. Now, viewers, that's really the historic metaphor that is being chosen now by the Prime Minister, by the NDA government. It is being resurrected and brought to the Parliament. A section, of course, of the opposition has had a lot to say about this. But first, viewers, let's get you to hear somebody who is very closely associated with the making of this Sengol that you see on your screens.
बेसिकली 1947 में पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू जी द्वारा इलाहाबाद म्यूजियम का शिलान्यास किया गया था और आगे का पोर्शन बना था। तो उनकी इच्छा थी कि उनके पास भी जो सामान हैं, जो भी उनको गिफ्ट मिले हैं, वो इलाहाबाद म्यूजियम में रखे जाए। तो उसी में लगभग 1958 से 64 के बीच में डॉक्टर एस सी काला, जो डायरेक्टर थे इलाहाबाद म्यूजियम के, उन्होंने नेहरू जी के यहाँ जाकर उसकी एक लिस्ट बनाई। उस लिस्ट में गोल्डन स्टिक भी हमारी है और वो हमारे रजिस्टर में चढ़ी हुई।
But he really, viewers, was the museum in charge. His name is Dr. Vankade, and he's telling us a little bit about how this particular sceptre came to lie in the Allahabad Museum. Now, viewers, a section of the opposition which has had no issue with the sceptre so far has all of a sudden injected a religious angle to the controversy by calling the decision to place the sceptre in the House part of the ruling government's push to promote Hindutva.
इसमें ये सिंगोल लगाने से इसको कम्युनलाइज किया जा रहा है और मुझे लगता है कि आने वाले वक्त में इसके अच्छे नताइज नहीं होंगे। हमारा मुल्क जो है वो आइनी तौर पे सेकुलर है और सेकुलर आइन को रखते हुए हमको किसी इंस्टीट्यूशन को कम्युनलाइज नहीं करना चाहिए और ये गलत है।
जो संसद है, जो पार्लियामेंट है, वो लोकतंत्र का मंत्र है और जिस तरह का जो एजेंडा, मैं तो कहना चाहता हूं कि जिस तरह का जो हिडन एजेंडा, हिंदुत्व का एजेंडा जो सरकार जो पहले भी चलाती आ रही है, आज पार्लियामेंट और उसके अंदर आप जिस लोगों जो बना के पेश करने जा रहे हो, तो मुझे बताइए कि ये सेकुलरिज्म जिसकी बुनियाद पर ये देश खड़ा है, आप उसी पे चोट करने जा रहे हो।
अभी ये देश हिंदू राष्ट्र नहीं बना है, अभी ये देश सेकुलर है। डॉक्टर भीमराव अम्बेडकर का रचा हुआ संविधान इस देश में चल रहा है, लेकिन इस देश के संविधान की धज्जियां उड़ाकर हिंदुत्व करके ये लोग जो पूरे देश में नंगा नाच नाच रहे हैं, उसी का एक ये है कि वहां भी एक ऐसी चीज लाएंगे जिससे लगेगा कि हिंदुत्व को बढ़ावा दे रहा हूं मैं।
Viewers, all these individuals couldn't be more wrong. I'll tell you why. Because viewers, let's face it, the symbols of India's Hindu civilizational ethos are very integrated with some of the most visible and salient institutions of this country. And let me elaborate on this because you'll get a quick sense of what I'm talking about. And here, viewers, are the hard facts. As always, viewers, I bring them to you because facts have fans, and it's the facts that constantly bring you back to watch India Upfront, watch me on this particular channel, Times Now. Now, why are we talking about these symbols? Here is the most important part, viewers, of the rebuttal to what some of these opposition leaders have been saying. This is not an abject promotion of Hindutva. This is a celebration of some of our most vital elements of our civilization and the intellectual underpinnings of the philosophy that continues to inform us. What are we talking about? Look at the Speaker's chair in the current Lok Sabha. It has an inscription, and that inscription says, Dharma Chakra Paravartanaya. Its origins, this particular inscription's origin lie in Buddhist, Hindu, and Jain philosophy. What does it mean? We should respond according to our dharma, to a set of ethics, values. Viewers, that's why it's on the Speaker's chair, already in Parliament. The precept under the Supreme Court logo, the inscription reads, Yato Dharmastato Jayah. Where does this originate from? The Hindu epic, the Mahabharata, and it means where there's dharma, there's victory. And that's one of the reasons why it is emblazoned, viewers, on the Supreme Court's logo. The inscription on the RNAW logo, viewers, there it is. You can see it. Dharmo Rakshati Rakshita. This originates from the Hindu text Manusmriti, and it means dharma protects those who protect it. Therefore, it suggests, viewers, that if you need to fight a righteous war, you should, but only, of course, for the right reasons. Let's look at some of the other inscriptions. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Where do you find this? It's the motto on the G20 logo. The origin, Maha Upanishad and the Hitopadesha. Viewers, the meaning is world is one family. India has just taken over the presidency of the G20, and we are, of course, going to be hosting the big G20 Jamboree in September. And what are we telling the world? That we're an agent of change, we're a Vishwaguru. This nation is, because it believes that the world is one family, we must abandon our differences. It's a very vital message. Then, viewers, let's look at another one. And there are just several of these examples. I'm only taking a few. Satyameva Jayate. Mantra from the Mundaka Upanishad. Truth alone triumphs. You will find this on most Sarkari logos, viewers. The motto of the Indian Air Force, Nabha Sparsham Deeptam. Where does this come from? The 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Touch the sky with glory is what it means. Viewers, this is what apparently the opposition seems to be conveniently forgetting. The sceptre has become just the latest flashpoint, it would appear, viewers, in the long list of reasons why the opposition has now decided to boycott. In fact, 19 parties will be boycotting the inauguration of India's parliament. This sounds excessive. Viewers, you might have a problem with Modi, you might have a problem with the BJP, but how can you have a problem with India's civilizational ethos and, viewers, the one institution that cradles this ethos, which is our Sansad, our parliament? Here are some of the other reasons why certain political parties don't want to show up on the day, on Sunday, viewers, at noon. Listening.
इसका इनॉग्रेशन प्रधानमंत्री को नहीं करना चाहिए क्योंकि ये थियोरी ऑफ सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर्स का वायलेशन है। स्पीकर कस्टोडियन है लोकसभा का और स्पीकर को करना चाहिए।
सभी लोगों से बात हुई है हमारी और हम लोग जो है इसका हम लोग विरोध करेंगे, बॉयकॉट करेंगे। तो पहला सेशन हम लोगों का मानना है कि राष्ट्रपति जी जो हैं उनसे जो है उद्घाटन कराना चाहिए था।
तो एक नया इमारत बना के सिर्फ एक ऐसा हम कोनशिला लगाएंगे इनॉग्रेटेड बाय प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी, इसके लिए खर्चा हुआ, लेकिन वो भी ठीक है। लेकिन देश के राष्ट्रपति इस राष्ट्र के संविधान की प्रमुख है। नए संसद भवन का उद्घाटन करना ये प्रोटोकॉल है।
Viewers, on the face of it, the opposition is bizarre. The opposition, the boycott, the call for the boycott is bizarre because it's not as if the House is going to disappear tomorrow. If you have a problem with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurating it and therefore you're going to boycott that, are you going to forget that the day after and step in and start working? Are you going to ignore the plaque? It does seem illogical. But viewers, let's open this up. We have with us some very good speakers tonight. It's going to be an engaging debate. I want to begin with Ashwin Sanghi, author. Thank you, Mr. Sanghi, for joining us this evening. And I want to ask you, is the placing of the sceptre in Parliament a bit to bring Hindutva elements into a secular space? That's my fundamental question to you.
So honestly, the way to think about this is that, first of all, what is a Sengol? Sengol is actually, as far as my understanding, the root is in Tamil, which in a word called semai, which means righteousness. But Rahul, the symbolism, we've all right now witnessed the coronation of King Charles, and the British how much value they attach to symbolism. So it was very natural for Mountbatten to ask Pandit Nehru what would be the ideal ritual to signify the transfer of power. And Nehru, of course, took the question to Raja Gopalchari, known as Rajaji, the last Governor General of India. And it was Rajaji who then felt that the Chola tradition of transfer of power could be adopted. And under this, the new so-called monarch, the king, would receive a scepter from the Rajguru. Now, to arrange this, of course, Rajaji reached out to a prominent mutt of Tamil Nadu, and the head seer of the mutt then took on the responsibility of having the scepter crafted by a jeweler down south called Bangaru Chetty, a reputed jeweler, and it was 5 feet long, plated in gold and crowned with a Nandi. And of course, please don't forget the Nandi itself has tremendous significance because the 4 legs of Nandi symbolize Satya or truth, Dharma or righteousness, Shanti or peace, and Prem or love. And of course, the Sengol was first handed over to Mountbatten, then taken back, sprinkled with Ganga Jal, almost you could say a symbolic washing away of the sins of British rule, and then taken in a procession to Nehru and handed over to him 15 minutes before midnight. The significance cannot be overstated, Rahul. Nehru would be accepting transfer of power not from the British Viceroy, but from a Tamil seer, a Hindu one at that. So installation of the scepter in that sense symbolizes a connection with Bharat's spiritual tradition. And after all, the word spiritual also contains the word ritual. So I see this as a ritual to connect the rational with the spiritual. Well, so why should anyone have a problem with that?
I think that's a very valid point. But the scepter has become this latest sort of reason for the opposition to say that they want to boycott this inauguration. And I think, and please feel free to disagree with me, Mr. Sanghi, I feel this aversion to the Sengol is in line with what is a sort of reflexive antipathy to India's civilizational dharmic ethos. Gone to great lengths in the name of Nehruvian secularism to deny our Hindu past. And this has all been done in the name of secularism and rationalization, or rationalism, as you say. Now, do you agree with what I'm saying, or do you think I'm not making sense here?
But if you have a problem with this particular scepter, then in that case, you should also have a problem with Nehru. I'm reading through the Kindle version of Freedom at Midnight by Dominique Lapierre and Larry Collins. If I have your permission, may I read a couple of lines from it?
Yeah, of course.
With their bare chests and foreheads streaked with ashes, their matted, uncut hair tumbling in black strands to their shoulders, they were pilgrims from an ancient, timeless India. One of the two bore a massive silver platter upon which was folded a swathe of white silk streaked in gold, the cloth of God. The other carried a 5-foot scepter, a flask of holy water from the Tanjore River, a pouch of sacred ash, and a pouch of boiled rice which had been offered at dawn at the feet of Nataraja, the dancing god, in his temple in Madras. They sprinkled Jawaharlal Nehru with holy water, smeared his forehead with sacred ash, laid their scepter on his arms and draped him in the cloth of God. To the man who had never ceased to proclaim the horror the word religion inspired in him, their rite was a tiresome manifestation of all that he deplored, yet he submitted to it with almost cheerful humility. It was as if the proud rationalist had instinctively understood that in the awesome tasks awaiting him, no possible source of aid, not even the occult that he so scornfully dismissed, was to be totally ignored. And so, just think about this. This is a rational man, Pandit Nehru, and he submits to this particular ritual. And Rahul, think about this. The preamble to our constitution says India, that is Bharat. Even the drafters of the constitution realized that modern India could not be disconnected from the ancient civilization of Bharat. Right. In fact, the writers of the constitution even avoided using the word secular in the preamble because to be secular in the truest sense of the word, the Indian state would have to stay out of the religious ambit completely. And of course, we know that whether it was the codification of Hindu personal law, whether it was recognizing Sharia-based Muslim personal law, whether it was taking over management of Hindu temples, these were very non-secular acts. And then if you have a problem with the sceptre and if you have a problem with Nehru, then you also have to have a problem with the constitution, because there are images depicted in the original document of the constitution that includes a scene depicting the Ramayana. Then there is Sri Krishna propounding the Bhagavad Gita to Arjun. Then there is a representation of the Shiva Nataraja engaged in his cosmic dance. So if you have a problem with one of these symbols, then you have to have a problem with all of those symbols.
Well, that's a very interesting point, Mr. Sanghi. Thanks so much. You've been, very persuasive this evening. Very persuasive. Thanks so much for this.
Add something, by the way?
Yeah, of course. Of course you can. Please, go ahead.
It is so foolish that we have been denying this so-called dharmic roots of India. Because honestly speaking, does the king, we just saw the coronation. Does the King of England being the head of the Church of England interfere with the secularism of UK? Rahul, does the American president holding the national prayer breakfast interfere with secular principles? France officially funds Catholic schools around the world, but it considers itself to be highly secular. Italy has still not revoked two of the decrees, royal decrees that were passed by Mussolini in 1924 and 1929 that require crucifixes to be displayed in elementary schools. Absolutely. Does that make Italy non-secular?
No.
So if there is a problem with Hindu symbolism, then go back to what the original plans of what we now call Parliament House. The plans were drafted by Edwin Lutyens and Herbert Baker, but Lutyens was inspired by a Yogini temple in Madhya Pradesh.
Yeah,
so any denial of our dharmic roots is dangerous. Examples abound where civilizations were wiped out. The Zoroastrian culture in Iran, the Mithraic cults of Rome, Egypt's gods, the gods of the Greeks, the tribal belief systems of Australia, the Incas and the Aztecs. There are countless examples where the civilizations have been lost. And on the other hand, we have countries around the world. I mean, for example, today we have countries like Indonesia and Malaysia, which are continuing to maintain their roots and maintain their linkages with ancient dharmic culture, even though their majority religion has changed.
Absolutely, Mr. Sanghi, and I couldn't agree with you more. I think, in the name of perhaps trying to bring down the BJP a notch or two, or the Prime Minister, etc., or just petty politicking, this is now amounting to a boycott of India's civilization ethos. Thank you very much, Mr. Sanghi, this evening for joining us. Let's open this up, viewers. Let's ask some of these specific questions, and I want to begin first with Sanjay Jha. Sanjay Jha, is the real reason behind the opposition's boycott an allergy to the symbols of Hindu iconography like Savarkar and the illustrious Sengol, and people like the Prime Minister Modi and the BJP that position themselves as the defender of India's rich civilizational heritage? Is that really what's here at stake? Is that the reason why there is this boycott? I mean, the timing has been questioned by the Congress party, saying that, oh, it's Savarkar Jayanti, and all that's being said. I mean, that's a shame, isn't it?
Rahul, let me just focus on that one element, and that is the 28th of May. And please do not interrupt me, because I need a couple of minutes to make this point, because this is not just for you and the panelists, it's for your viewers. The Bharatiya Janata Party and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi have to cut out this political hypocrisy and bite the bullet.
Okay.
Is it Mr. Vinayak Damodar Savarkar or Mahatma Gandhi? They will have to make a choice. And let's go by history. Since we talked of statues, let me talk about the Statue of Unity that Prime Minister Modi and the BJP talk about, which is, I think, greatly appreciated by the Congress party, that they applaud a great Congress leader. This is what Sardar Patel, by the way, wrote on February 27th of the year in which Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated. And I quote him. You are allowed Mr. Sanghi to quote. I'm going to quote as well. A fanatical wing of the Hindu Mahasabha directly under Savarkar murdered or hatched the conspiracy to kill Mahatma Gandhi. My question to GVL Raut, and through your channel, by the way, more important to Prime Minister Narendra Modi is, because I saw the tweet of the BJP IT cell head who talked about the 28th and the 140th anniversary of Savarkar. It is very clear, right? The BJP, this is not a coincidence. Okay. It is deliberate. So my question to the BJP here is very simple. Mr. Savarkar was, by the way, charged as a co-conspirator in the murder of the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, who fought for India's freedom struggle and did not have to file any mercy petitions. I do believe, and I'm saying so here with full responsibility, not just as a supporter of the Congress or of the opposition, but as a citizen of this country, that the Bharatiya Janata Party and Mr. Modi cannot, they cannot blatantly fool our country anymore.
Okay.
If you are saying that parliamentary democracy of India's future is linked to one nationalist, and the right wing has every right, by the way. I'm not critical of the BJP and the RSS saying that we believe in Savarkar. They have a right to believe he was a nationalist. Probably he was. But end of day, the fundamental question, Gandhiji was assassinated. Nathuram Godse, a former RSS man, was part of the Hindu Mahasabha. Mr. Savarkar was a president of the Hindu Mahasabha, and he was a co-conspirator. And the Jeevan Lal Kapoor Commission report that Rahul, you know about, clearly mentioned that end of day, it could not be escaped that the role of Mr. Savarkar was clear as daylight. So this is my question to you.
So just
the BJP has to make a choice.
Okay.
If Mahatma Gandhi
so we have a problem tonight because it's happening on Savarkar Jayanti. Okay, Sanjay Jha, just a quick fact check on a few things.
Yeah.
Since you are in the habit of quoting stuff, let me also just sort of bring out some facts. Savarkar was acquitted in the assassination in 1948 of Mahatma Gandhiji. You know, since you are referring to the Jeevan Lal Kapoor Commission of Inquiry, which indicted Savarkar.
And I also mentioned
so let me just finish, sir. Please, let me just finish. In 1964. But the Supreme Court in 2018 refused to reopen investigation into Gandhi's killing. So that chapter is shut. Let me also, since you quoted letters, let me quote a letter. Here it is, Indira Gandhi. Viewers, this is a letter. It's right here. We're going to try and put it out on the screen for you. Now, this is a letter that is written, and she says, I have received your letter of the 8th of May, 1980. Veer Savarkar's daring defiance of the British government has its own important place in the annals of our freedom movement. I wish success to the plans to celebrate the birth centenary of this remarkable son of India. This is Indira Gandhi, viewers.
And Rahul, both of them can be true.
1 second.
No, he went to
one second.
He went to the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. 1 minute.
Sir, 1 second. Look, no. 1 second. Sanjay Jha, please. Sanjay Jha, please.
I'm talking about the murder.
He's been exonerated. The RSS was exonerated. Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay. 1 minute.
They can both coexist.
Let me.
I'm talking about the murder of Mahatma Gandhi.
We are talking about now Mahatma Gandhi praising Savarkar. Let me read out that in a letter to freedom fighter M.R. Jayakar, dated 25th February 1933. Gandhiji wrote, I wonder if you were able to pass on my letter about the opening ceremony to Vinayak Rao. This is the opening ceremony of 2 temples in Ratnagiri. He has certainly done very good social work in Ratnagiri. When the Bihar government banned the annual session of the Hindu Mahasabha from being held between 1st December 41 and 10th January 1942, Gandhi came out openly in the latter's defense. In a press statement he issued. Sir, can I? Okay, so one, are you trying to tell me that Indira Gandhi did not respect? Okay, Sanjay Jha, please. Why are you interrupting me, sir? Did I interrupt you? आपको ये क्या आदत है, sir? Why are you pouncing down my neck? I am just trying to tell you that there is a letter by Indira Gandhi. It's written in 1980.
Has Mrs. Gandhi said that Vinayak Damodar Savarkar had no role in Gandhiji's assassination, Hindu Mahasabha's role.
Why
Who
would
was the
she,
president of
excuse
Hindu
me,
Mahasabha?
why would she be urging, felicitating, plans to celebrate the birth centenary of the murder of Mahatma Gandhi? Does she owe no allegiance to Mahatma Gandhi as a Congress Prime Minister? As
Rahul,
the daughter of Jawaharlal Nehru, who was the greatest disciple of Mahatma Gandhi.
Mr. Savarkar was admitted in the fact.
Sir, one second.
Mr. Savarkar was not convicted as a fact.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you're a greater, truer. No. Maybe you're a greater, truer congressman.
Murdered Mahatma Gandhi is a fact, and it cannot be denied.
How can I today conduct a debate when fact after fact is being illogically dismissed? I mean, viewers, is Sanjay Jha a greater congressman than Indira Gandhi? If he was, why is he suspended from the party?
Well, I don't have to agree with everything
Okay,
Mrs. Gandhi did.
GVL Narasimha Rao wants to respond to you.
We are our own people.
GVL Narasimha Rao wants to respond to you. You have done the greatest disservice, Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao, to Indian parliamentary democracy by deciding to inaugurate this on the day of Savarkar Jayanti, says Sanjay Jha, because this is an abnegation of the founder of this nation's philosophy, because this individual went out there and conspired to kill him. Now, how do you respond to this charge? If this is not brazen Hindutva nationalism, what is it?
It's an insult to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Sardar Patel, Dr. Ambedkar, everybody.
Right.
Yeah, the kind of highly contemptuous comments made by the likes of Sanjay Jha is all the more reason why this inauguration of the new parliament building should be done, and very openly saying this is the day a great nationalist was born, and we are very happy to have this the temple of India's democracy, the new building, new premises being inaugurated. Like you rightly pointed out, this is the letter of 1980 of Indira Gandhi. They can't conveniently change their positions every day. And just because somebody made an allegation at the time of assassination, it does not make somebody guilty. If that is the logic, then Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, all of them are guilty. They all should be in jail. Why are they going to parliament? So I think it's the kind of contempt that leaders of the Congress party have other leaders, other great stalwarts of India's freedom movement, apart from the Gandhi family, is all the more reason, whether it is Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. He has not been given his pride of place. He was a great stalwart. He was not given. Only under Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, we have installed actually a statue of Netaji on the new Kartavya Path.
Netaji
and leaders and his family.
Don't overspeak.
We have seen how
Sanjay Jha, please. He didn't interrupt.
We have seen how.
Please, sir.
We have seen how his family members were snooped upon when Jawaharlal Nehru continued to be the Prime Minister of the country.
Yeah.
So that was the kind of respect shown to a great stalwart like Subhash Chandra Bose. And what they did to Sardar Patel's family, his daughter. They remember Sardar Patel only on the eve of elections in Gujarat, and they immediately forget him. I think I may use the word dump. It's only under Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji you have a statue of unity which symbolizes the great contribution made by Sardar Patel. Every major leader who contributed to India, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Jawaharlal Nehru made it a point, vengefully ran after Dr. Ambedkar and defeated him in elections in Maharashtra. Why was it done? If you have such great respect for Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, why was Nehru bent upon defeating Dr. Ambedkar?
But let's not.
Why did he not want him to enter parliament?
I understand that point. Let's not stray. Let's buttonhole further. Now, you see, Sanjay Jha, viewers, and he said, I'm speaking to the viewers. So he's giving you facts which unfortunately are not going to stand up to scrutiny. The first fact was that, there was this Jeevanlal Kapoor report which indicted Savarkar. Now, this is what the Supreme Court said. Viewers, the highest court of the land. And I've already told you that the highest court of the land also bears a Hindu motto. So let me tell you, viewers, what the Supreme Court said. The Supreme Court refused to reopen investigations on the basis of this report, saying, and I'm quoting it, the learned amicus curiae submitted that his finding was rendered after the demise of Shri Savarkar, and no opportunity was given to Shri Savarkar or any of his representatives. He submitted that the finding is unfair since Shri Savarkar had been acquitted at the trial. There is no doubt that this finding does not in any way interfere with the acquittal, and is a general observation probably made since Godse and others were found to have been associated with Shri Savarkar. It cannot have the effect of overturning of the finding of the criminal court which acquitted Shri Savarkar. This is what was said about the report. So the report now also goes out of the equation, viewers. Now, I have only one small point to make to you, Mr. Rao, and that point is that while you talked about Savarkar and described him as a stalwart of the freedom movement, I would go in fact a step further. I would say that he was a champion of our dharmic civilization, and there is plenty of evidence to suggest this. And by dharma, viewers, I don't mean religion. No one in this country equates dharma with religion. And therefore I now call upon Mr. Iyer Mitra to address this problem. So we have a situation where Savarkar is a problem, Sengol is a problem, Modi is a problem. What is the common thread uniting all these three individuals? And therefore, very publicly, without any qualms, these political parties say we are boycotting Parliament. What does that tell you?
So Rahul, see, the basic problem here is Modi. They don't want such an important structure to be ever inaugurated by Modi, whose name will permanently be imprinted on it as its builder. Because as far as they're concerned, other than the Nehru Gandhis, nobody else built anything in this country except the Nehru Gandhis and certain heroes certified by the Congress party propaganda machine who are allowed to be celebrated as national heroes. Number one, right? Remember, all these people saying the president should have inaugurated it. In 2021, they boycotted the president's address. Wo kya tha? Even this year, the president's address was boycotted by 2-3 parties again. What was that? Okay, they will keep finding something or the other. Next, let's come to the Sengol itself. Now, the Sengol in Tamil means a brick. It's a platform, essentially. Like, a brick makes something strong, a Sengol makes something strong. This is directly derived from the British parliamentary tradition. I want to show you a photo out here. This is the mace of the Queen in Parliament.
Yeah.
You see, it is kept there as an authority of the monarch. And they wanted a similar symbol like that for the Indian Parliament, and this was created. And it obviously came from the Chola Empire, which, is actually quite telling right now, given our maritime projection. Because the Cholas, Rajaraja Chola and Rajendra Chola, basically created the largest naval empire we've ever known.
Yeah.
So this becomes another problem for them. The very fact that it is a Nandi out there, well, a bull. Nandi itself means happiness, prosperity. What does the bull symbolize? Justice. It symbolizes righteousness and justice. Now tell me, are any one of these, is prosperity alien to any religion, including Christianity and Islam and Judaism? Is righteousness an alien concept to any of these religions? No. Is justice an alien concept to any of these religions? No. Basically, see, this is a case where they've decided they have to criticize anything and everything under the sun as long as Modi is there. Had he named this the Nehru Memorial Parliament and had the thing inaugurated by cutouts of Nehru, cutout of Indira Gandhi, cutout of Rajiv Gandhi, then they would have said great. Basically, he can't even address the G20 apparently without having photos of Nehru, Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi on the front desk. They keep calling everybody North Korean media, yet I've never even seen the North Korean media, idealize their leader, Kim Jong-un, Kim Il-sung, the way these people idealize Rajiv Gandhi, Indira Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru. This is just going to be on and on and on. It is sour grapes. They can't deal with the fact that they can't come back to power. They have to keep dealing with the fact that somebody else is actually building something big, something symbolic.
Let me ask Mr. Vikraman, who, of course, his party is an ally of the DMK that is also boycotting. So, Mr. Vikraman, will the opposition boycott the entire parliament session and all other subsequent parliament sessions because this particular parliament was inaugurated on the day Veer Savarkar was born, or because they have decided to place the Sengol next to the Speaker's chair. In other words, has the opposition now painted itself into a corner? You're going overboard.
No, Mr. Rahul, I would want to tell Mr. Abhijit, who couldn't differentiate between Sengol and Sengol. I'm wondering how such a person is invited in the panel who couldn't differentiate between Sengol and Sengol. Sengol is a brick, Sengol is a sceptre. Okay. See, in Tirukkural, there is one name. Tirukkural.
They derive from the same root, pa?
No.
So much for a representative of ECK.
You can come back later, Mr. Abhijit. Murai Seidu Kapaatrum Mannavan Makkadku Irayendru Vaikkapadum is a Tamil Tirukkural, which says the king must be just so that he can be treated like a leader. Here our Prime Minister is not just and not inclusive. A Sengol or a sceptre should be handed over to somebody who is inclusive. But this Prime Minister is not inclusive.
So, Mr. Vikraman, are you saying that the Prime Minister who represents a certain significant number of Indians is voted by bigots? Is that what you're suggesting? Deplorable bigots?
People believed him, he deceived them. That is what I'm saying. 36%
so they keep re-electing him, they keep re-electing the party because he keeps deceiving them. Are you suggesting that the people are foolish? Mr. Vikraman?
They are not foolish.
How is it that other parties, how is it that other so-called truthful parties are not being picked time and time again? How is it that the Congress is only in power in 3 states of the Indian Union?
What is the purpose
and
of
has some 50 odd seats in the Lok Sabha?
Savarkar's anniversary. What did Savarkar do for the independence of this nation?
Let me, okay, sir, look, you are free to disregard. No, Mr. Vikraman, fine. He did nothing for the freedom of this country. He was just a parasite. He was a parasite. You are free, sir, to ignore historical facts and continue with your ignorance. You are absolutely free to do this. I am not going to be able to, sir. No, 1 second, please. Just give me 30 seconds.
Belonging to the BJP can answer my question.
Mr. Vikraman, we can only have a productive discussion if you speak facts and if you back your statements with facts. I can't just have a rhetorical discussion with somebody who just wants to make any old provocative statement without backing, without understanding. So you are only exposing your own ignorance, sir, and your inability to back any of your arguments with facts. I want to ask you, sir, how is the BJP's vote share gone? Excuse me.
Your inability to not raise my voice, your inability to mute my channel.
I'm hearing you. You're talking nonsense.
You are nonsense. Mind your words.
You're talking absolute nonsense.
I have just one question. Rahul, I have just one question.
People are being fooled. People are being misled. People don't know what is happening to them. Sir, you're being contemptuous of the elector. You're being contemptuous of the viewer. Grow up, sir. Read a little bit before you come to a discussion.
I have one question for our friend from the VC.
Yeah, please. Go ahead. Try your luck, Mr. Mitra.
Vikraman, since it's the BJP isn't inclusive, Savarkar isn't inclusive, why were you and your leader part of the NDA from 2001 to 2004? You forgot your history lessons then, nah?
No, and this is the VCK that argues also in a very sectarian manner, viewers. What do you think they are arguing for? I mean, this is the biggest hypocritical
of this country.
These chaps are part of this alliance, that alliance, just because they sniff where the power is and they get in there. They have extremely sectarian views and they express them, and they are talking about inclusive politics.
Does Vikraman and his leader, do they support the LTTE and do they think Prabhakaran was a freedom fighter who did no wrong? Simple question.
Now, Mr. Rahul Shivshankar, is it relevant?
It is,
Yeah,
because
it
you
is
are
very
suggesting that certain people like Modi and his party
are the
are
LTT and
exclusivists.
Prabhakaran
I'm asking you.
terrorists?
Okay. So
Are
viewers,
LTT and Prabhakaran terrorists? It's a
Rahul.
simple yes or no.
No, they are not terrorists.
they are not terrorists. So
There
Rahul
you
Gandhi is today, viewers, in alliance, part of a coalition which includes the VCK in Tamil Nadu. And the leader of that particular coalition, of one of the parties in that coalition, says that no, LTT, they're not terrorists, neither is Mr.
do not have any
Prabhakaran, the person, the LTT, the group that was responsible for the murder of Rahul Gandhi's father, Rajiv Gandhi, the former Prime Minister of this country. Viewers, this is the hypocrisy. Here is where the problem is. And here,
unlike Savarkar and Rahul, remember, unlike Savarkar who was acquitted, LTT cadres were found guilty of the killing of Rajiv Gandhi, and they are languishing in jail even today.
Okay, now let me also very quickly, viewers, while we're talking about hypocrisy tonight, 2008, Indian Express on VCK, a pro-LTT meeting organized in the city by the Vidyuthalai Chirutagal Kachi or VCK, an ally of the ruling DMK, demanding lifting of the ban on the terrorist outfit triggered pandemonium in the assembly on Tuesday. Viewers, we are talking about Mr. Vikraman and his party. Mr. Vikraman on the channel says that the Prime Minister believes in exclusivist ideology. Who is exclusivist here? The VCK. Look at this, viewers. Here are the facts. As I said, people who appear on India Upfront must read a little bit, because I am going to test them on one single, one second, template. One second. There is only one touchstone, and that is fact. You can't array the facts. You can't array the facts. Don't appear on this channel. Don't appear on my show. I will pick you out. And I have. I've exposed you, sir. Now you come back with facts. Come back tomorrow or tweet me later on. I need to move on, viewers. I need to move on, because we're going to focus on a very interesting deposition that